are 2 subscribers away from 100, guys. We are at 98 subscribers currently at the time of this video going out. When we hit 100, we have a huge announcement for you, something that we are very excited about. He's got it right there, the Ken Griffey Jr. bobblehead giveaway. More details to come when we release the 100 subscriber video, but we just want to say thank you. Thank you guys for your support, for all the subscriptions and the likes, the comments, the engagement. We appreciate it. We do this for fun because we love it, but we also love when you guys engage with us. 100 subscribers, we're really close. Thank you.
Welcome back, guys. And
we were hyped. I mean, the amount of let's goes that we're sent back and forth is crazy.
I think this trade kind of shocked us a little. It kind of shocked me.
Super exciting.
That's kind of hard to believe.
Let's get hyped and yeah, let's get into the video.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Tridents, a Mariners podcast. This will be our last episode before opening day. Very exciting stuff. We're about a week out now. The season is here. So this week we wanted to talk about all the last updates, including injuries, as well as open roster spots, as well as going over the WBC that just concluded last night. So Venezuela obviously beat USA 3-2 last night. We had a few Mariners that walked away with that victory in Edward Brizardo as well as Jonathan Diaz. So shout out to those guys. Good job. What did you see in this WBC for the Mariners?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of Mariners in the WBC this year, which was really cool to see. I mean, it felt like every game I was watching, no matter what country, there was a Mariner playing in there. So that was pretty cool. I think it's a good, I think it's good reps for the hype, the energy of like the regular season. If not, honestly, more energy in this tournament. It was crazy. So, but yeah, last night specifically, I mean, Bizardo, we saw him pitch for Venezuela. I think he had a good outing. We saw former Mariners, Eugenio Suarez, win that game for Venezuela, basically. And U.S. could not do anything. Cal Raleigh was not in the game yesterday, which was disappointing to see, but they said he was cold in the tournament, so they went with Will Smith, who didn't do anything either. So
and had that defensive miscue with the pass ball too. So
he did, yeah. Kyle, would he have done that? I don't think so.
Well, no.
Hey, so tournament's over. Now everyone's back to camp with their teams, and like you said, we're just about a week away now from regular season. So those guys that are returning are going to get the last of their reps, and then we're going to be off to the start of the season. I want to talk about, on the topic of WBC, any performances that stood out to you or underwhelmed you from any of the Mariners from the tournament, and if so, what does that mean? What do you think that means going into the season for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say almost every single Mariner player, other than Edward Brizardo, really disappointed me. I mean, Canzone, he had his moments for Italy, but ultimately was subpar. Cal Raleigh didn't have a single hit in his 3 games. Obviously, small sample size, but Randy, Naylor, Munoz, a lot of these guys that we expect to be producing for us in the season really didn't show up in the way that we thought they would for their country. So I was a little disappointed to see that maybe these players didn't pick up early, especially Julio. I mean, he had that awesome home run robbery the other day against Aaron Judge. That was electric, but ultimately I was hoping to see more from our guys. I wanted to see them ready for the year, especially with this high intensity play that WBC brings. But other than Bizardo, I really can't say anyone stood out to me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I was going to say the only thing that stood out to me was Julio's defense. He had that, home run robbery against Judge in the game versus the U.S., and he had a couple other nice defensive plays throughout the tournament. But other than that, offensively, didn't really do much. I think he had the 1 home run early, like the first game of the tournament.
Yeah, he had a 3-run bomb earlier but that was during pool play, so
yeah, so
it's hard to say it doesn't matter, but I mean it didn't matter when it came to the single elimination.
It wasn't in a big moment, and when we saw that right away, I was like, oh, here we go, Julio's starting hot, and kind of that was the end of it. And Randy specifically was really subpar. Maybe that's why Kyle didn't want to shake his hand. I don't know. But Yeah, that was rough to see. Canzone, Italy's, it was disappointing. Italy had such an awesome run, and they had
Hmm.
so many upsets, and they won games that no one even was talking about them going into the tournament. And it seemed like everyone on that Italy team was like coming up hot except
Hmm.
Canzone. I
Hmm.
mean, there
He had
was
he had a
Canzone
few
was,
singles there and whatnot. I think he had one diving defensive play in the outfield, but again,
yeah,
underwhelming.
but there was like two games where I don't even think he was in the lineup, and it was like two wins that it was disappointing to have so many players and no one really do anything.
Moving into the question marks that we have for this opening day 2026, just around the corner. I'm sure everyone's seen and heard, but I was down there for spring training last week and I saw Miller through his last bullpen, only threw 3 pitches. They pulled him and said, "Hey, he said something's not doesn't feel right." He ended up getting a cortisone shot in his arm, and then yesterday officially had his another bullpen, threw 30 pitches and felt really good. So that's good to hear, but still looms the question, is he going to be ready for opening day in that 5 spot?
Right. Yeah, we have two big question marks now going into spring. First one, Bryce Miller. Um, to me, this is really not a good sign just because of what we saw his injury prone season
Hmm.
last year look like. If he's already dealing with the same injuries and he can't make it through spring training, uh, is it going to be another season like last year where he can't really find his stuff again? Um, what do you think the Mariners do with the rotation if he's going to miss the start of the season? Do you think they're going to push him?
I mean, nothing's official yet, but I would say he's almost certainly going to be on the IL to start the year. He hasn't thrown a single outing in spring training yet. If he's expected to go for the fifth game, which would be what? That'd be the Monday game in the Yankees series. He's not ready, and it's unfortunate to see because last year obviously was such a big disappointment after a breakout year in 24.
Hmm.
But there's really two options. Cade Anderson's officially been optioned to minor league camp. Ryan Stallone really was never in the conversation. And we obviously see
Right.
Logan Evans in the offseason having an injury, and a season ending injury. So we have two options, Criswell and Hancock. And I know I have my answer. I'm curious to see what yours is.
Well, with those two options, for me, the I think the obvious answer would be Hancock, but Criswell does not have a minor league option.
Hmm.
So, and he is a guy we just picked up this offseason. So you know, um, why would we have picked him up and then now's his opportunity if we're not going to give it to him? And Hancock does have still minor league options. So
Hmm.
to me, I would like to see. I want Emerson Hancock, but the option situation is where it's kind of left up to question to me. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I disagree with you. I think that Chris Welsh should get the job, and there's a reason for this. So watching Hancock over the last few years for us, he's really never taken that leap forward. I mean, he's had almost a 5 ERA in his last 2 years when he had 12 starts in 24 and 16 starts last year. So Criswell has under 2 ERA currently in spring training, has been really solid. And I think he might have a better profile to be that number 5 guy right now, and then throw Emerson Hancock in the bullpen. When you say that Criswell is out of options and that doesn't make that an option to send him down, Hancock does have options. I still think they both make the team, but I think Criswell earns that starting job.
To counter that, Chris Well to the bullpen. I'm not saying Emerson Hancock has a lot of value, but this
Hmm.
offseason, the Mariners, front office made it a very clear point that they did not want to trade any
Hmm.
of their like whatever you want to call them pipeline pitchers, like the 6, 7 spot pitchers, which being Hancock, Logan Evans before his injury, and obviously any of the Mariners pitching prospects. So
Hmm.
if they didn't want to trade him, then it's good they didn't because now we have injuries and now we
We're on
need to
that
go.
situation already.
They were right, but because they didn't, I think that shows that they have plans for Hancock in to be that guy, which now he's really the only option in my opinion. Criswell
Hmm.
could go to the bullpen. Hancock will be number 5.
I think ultimately both those guys can give you a spot start here and there. It might be one of those situations where we see from Logan Evans and Hancock last year, where they bounce off of each other, and whoever's kind of on the hot streak gets to maintain those starts, and whoever's not is in the bullpen or is optioned down or whatnot.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's unfortunate that we're here already and the season hasn't even started. Our number five
Right.
guy is down. We expected a lot from Bryce Miller this year after a disappointing season, but I think at the end of the day, either of those guys are not going to be ideal. It's just a matter of who's going to have the hotter hand going into the year, who's going to be you know who's going to be able to put the team in a better position to win every fifth day. Um, so
Yeah. And
regardless if it's Chriswell or Hancock, they just gotta do something.
yeah, for sure. I don't hate the idea of letting, say, Chriswell go, see what he does. If he pitches well, great, keep him there till, we have some better injury news, or if he struggles and put Hancock in and see what he does, right? Like,
And then you just release
and
Chriswell.
kind of rotate the guys out. Yeah, if he can't do it, then put him in the bullpen. If he's okay in the bullpen, then cool. If not, then yeah, you can just release him.
Hmm.
Another point that you made that I like real quick before we move on, you're right. Emerson Hancock has not really progressed in any
Hmm.
from year to year, like which like we want to see, right? Like he was a high draft pick. So many guys have
Sixth
come,
overall in 2020.
yeah,
Sixth.
and yeah, and other guys have come up or been drafted either right around that same time, progressed, come up, and now we've seen them be have
Hmm.
great success in our rotation, all passing Emerson Hancock, right? He's still in that spot where he really
Hmm.
hasn't progressed from year to year when he does get the opportunity. So, you know, uh, I see where you're coming from with that.
To your point, just to make sure everyone's aware, but Brian Wu and Bryce Miller were both drafted a year after Hancock in 21, both lower round picks, and have both, like you Devin said, have made it into the major league roster, into the rotation, and have been producing. So Hancock's been disappointing, and I kind of think he's lost his window. That's why I think Criswell
Yeah,
will earn that job.
that's fair. I think Hancock has really missed his window as well to be like a a high um, starter, like a high top of the rotation starter, or
Hmm.
even like a solid like everyday starter that you can count
Should have traded him a few years back.
on. Yeah, for sure when his value was high, but I don't think he's in our current situation, I still think he has earned the right to again, like we've seen last year and the year prior, give him a chance in the fifth spot with an injury if he still can't do it.
Last
Definitely
thing
give
I'll
him that.
say, and then we'll move forward to the other injury news is Emerson Hancock did start today. And he gave up 7 hits in three and a third. A lot of hard contact.
That's rough.
Um, yeah, it is rough, and again, this is spring training. it's going to be different, but just
Hmm.
a note there. So, in other
Yeah.
news, though, I'm sure everyone's been hearing about this. This has been the news for a lot of the Mariners podcasts and sport networks and all that. Shortstop J.P. Crawford is also anticipated to not make the opening day roster. He also had some shoulder tightness. He received his cortisone shot yesterday down in Texas, and he is now questionable for opening day. What options do you see that are viable, and what does that mean for a potential um, starting opening day spot?
Yeah, if JP misses opening day and we go a different direction, I think Emerson is the guy that they're going to go with. I think it's
Hmm.
tough though because you would then potentially have Cole Young and Cole Emerson up the middle, which is exciting, right, on paper and to the fans, but in reality, it's a little scary. But
Hmm.
I think Emerson has that um, the opportunity, and I think is the front runner to be the starting shortstop if JP misses.
And he's had a decent spring. He's batting around
Hmm.
the 270 mark. He's had a few bombs in the last like 4 or 5 games that he's played. He's hitting the ball hard. He's playing great defense. He's had starts at third base, at shortstop. So clearly he's comfortable in that role. But how skeptical are we of a 20-year-old starting, with this team with the expectation that we're making a deep run in the playoffs? I mean, this is not, when we brought Julio up in 22 where we were like, you know what, let's see what can happen. We have nothing else to lose, really. This team is now has a really strong core, offensive and pitching. Um, so with Cole Emerson making that jump, does that potentially, turn him into the next Jared Kelnick? I really hope not, but it's a conversation we have to have, I mean, Kelnick's
Yeah,
now a White Sox under a minor league deal 6
Yeah.
years removed from his opening day, or 7 years now.
Yeah, which is crazy. No, you're 100% right. I would be very excited, but also scared if he, is the one that makes opening day start. Just because I don't want another Kelnick. I don't want to rush him. But in reality, who else then? Like you said,
Hmm.
we're a team that's expected to make a deep playoff push, and um, that's where the expectations are. If not Cole Emerson, then who?
Yeah. And I have an
Um,
answer for you because this is the podcast, I guess, where Denon and Devin disagree. So go down in
yeah, which
history.
which is rare because we usually agree on everything. Well, who?
Um,
Then let's hear it.
so first, I want to say why Cole Emerson's not going to get the job. I think as a 20-year-old, these early years and this experience in AA and AAA is pivotal to his future development because we want Cole Emerson to be the shortstop for the next decade on the Mariners, right? JP
Yeah,
Crawford's contract ends this year after the 2026 season, and ideally, it looks like Cole Emerson's going to take that spot. Um, only reason I think Cole Emerson, not only, but another reason I think Cole Emerson does not make the jump immediately is because let's say he comes up, he plays 10 to 15 games, and JP's ready to go. That's still JP's job as of right now. In my opinion, you go with your backup options like Miles Mastroboni, Leo Rivas, and that's my pick. Leo
Leo
Rivas, I
Rivas.
think, will be
Yeah,
the Mariners opening day starter because he's going to fit in that role really well. He's a switch hitter, plays great defense, and then he also has no expectation of being the starter for the whole year. So he can play those
yeah,
first 10 to 15 games, get JP ready to go, maybe start him in AAA to get some more at bats, and then bring him up and let him rip.
yeah. I mean, you're probably right. Rivas had the taste of the postseason
Hmm.
last year, right? He was on the roster. He had some big moments down the stretch going into the playoffs. So I don't. You're probably right on that front. I still stand on the fact that Mastroboni is going to make the team, but he's going to
Hmm.
be the utility, like the infield utility role. And I think they'll have someone else. If JP misses, I don't think it'll be Mastroboni that is like the everyday starter until JP
Hmm.
comes back. I think they're going to have one other guy fill that role, and it's probably going
Yeah.
to be. You're probably right. It's probably going to be Mastroboni, but the way Emerson has been playing and he's been getting a lot of time this spring, it's kind of like raises the question in my mind, like, well, if maybe they give him a taste, if it's only, 10, 15 games, 1, 2
Hmm.
weeks, give him a taste. If he, does good, great. You still send him down and he works on his development in the minor leagues till he's ready for a full-time spot. If he struggles, well, you send him down as well anyway, and he works on his stuff in AAA. So,
So let's play Devin advocate, not devil's advocate, Devin advocate, and say Cole Emerson is your opening day shortstop, and let's say he takes off like Julio did in 22. He's batting 300. He has plenty of home runs. He's stealing bases, playing great defense. Then what?
that's fine. Then you move him to third and Brendan Donovan to second. JP goes back to shortstop. Cole Young, sorry, but you're out.
Let's
You're
say Cole
done.
Young is playing even better than Cole Emerson. What happens to JP?
You know what? Then Brendan Donovan is the utility man. JP is the shortstop. Cole Emerson at third. Young at second. Mastroboni and Rivas, if you're there, you're gone or you're down.
Hmm.
Brendan Donovan because he can play second, third, and a shortstop, I believe.
Corner outfields too. Yeah.
Corner outfield too. He can rotate. He can still get everyday at bats between all those positions and DH. He can rotate around, give a guy a rest. Right. If you have two young guys
Hmm.
in Emerson and Cole Young, then they need, they're going to need rest days too. So he'll just fill in around, and
I know
he
we've
can still
mentioned
get
this
some playing
before,
time.
but doing that, like again, we're playing Devin advocate here. Doing that sounds like the 2016 Cubs, and guess what they did?
They won a
They
World
went out
Series.
and won a World Series. So,
Yep. Exactly.
again, these are
Yeah.
these are all big speculations, but man,
He would
would
he
that
would
be
become
amazing?
he would become what Ben Zobrist basically.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
Donovan would become Ben Zobrist. Yeah.
yeah, and every like you said, the Cubs and a lot of teams that have been really successful, Yankees come to mind as well. Is they have a guy like that. I know we've had like Dylan Moore and whatever
Hmm.
that had that type of role as well, but someone like what I was just explaining Brendan Donovan doing, but actually being really successful and still getting everyday at bats, but in like a different spot every day
Hmm. Yeah,
and
those
being
and
able
those
to
are the
fill
teams
in.
that make deep runs.
Hmm because obviously injuries are going to happen. Guys are going to miss time some way. So that's what I say you do. Yep.
Well, with all of that, it's frustrating to see that we already have two of our opening day 26-man roster spots questionable. But again, it's a long season. We got 162 games ahead of us. We have a lot of potential injuries that could arise, and hopefully they always will find a way to fill that role seamlessly. And I think any of these options, whether it's Criswell or Hancock in the 5 spot, or Emerson or Rivas in that shortstop, I think the Mariners have set themselves up and have enough depth to not field these as much as they had in the past years.
Yeah, I agree, which is good for us. So, yeah, it's an exciting time, though. Those two big question marks will be answered soon, and we're going to be getting the season underway here in about a week from now. So it's time to go.
One last thing we got to talk about, because we're one of the very few teams that has still not announced their opening day starter.
That's
Obviously
right.
last year we saw Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu had his first All-Star appearance, George Kirby took a step in the right direction after his injury. Who do you think is going to be pitching on the 26th? Who's going to be playing that opening day start against the Guardians?
I have two answers. Who do I think it should be and who deserves it the most is Brian Wu. Who do I think it will be is Logan Gilbert.
Brian Wu took such a step forward, and he has shown that he is ready to show his maturity, to take that next step, and to be considered maybe the next guy for the Mariners. The only reason I say Gilbert pulls ahead is because of his performance in spring training. He's been really solid this spring training. 2 years removed from he had like 215 innings or something like that. So he's 2 years removed from an amazing year. And also, he is the first on our rotation that will hit the free agency. Show him that, hey, we believe in you. We want you to be our guy. So we're going to throw out this opening day, and we're going to slide a contract under your door right afterwards.
Oh, yes, sir. He was also the opening day starter last year. I think to keep his confidence and, his, like you said, his faith in the team, I think they're going to give him the nod for starter for opening day. And then I think Brian Wu will become your number 2 guy. And, and so on from there. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Talking Tridents and Mariners podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like down below. Comment, subscribe. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, we are 2 subscribers away from 100. Thanks for watching this episode. See you guys on the next video.